Pain to Prosperity, Preparing for the Process. This keynote was from the hospital.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bureau Keynotes. This evening, we have Miss Tracey Armstrong. Tracey D. Armstrong is a graduate of Texas A&M University with 15 years of retail/restaurant management experience and the owner of Prosperity in Motion Cheer Company and founder of PMT All-Stars nonprofit organization. Tracey has coached hundreds of athletes and coaches over the past 10 years as a certified coach, mediator, and mental health specialist. She is currently an educator of social and emotional learning and is transitioning from school educator and coach to coach national professional speaker. To prepare you for the process of life. Please welcome Tracey Armstrong with her presentation, Preparing for the Process, From Pain to Prosperity.
Hello, everyone. This is Tracey D. Armstrong, your self-motivating mentor for these moments of your lives. And I want to first say thank you. I want to say thank you to those that have presented this opportunity to have a positive impact on your lives today. And I want to say thank you for all of those that have given me some of your tea, that is your time, energy, and attention for these moments here in your lives, because I realize that you could be anywhere else tonight, but you are here listening to me. And I recognize that every moment in your lives is a moment that you cannot get back. So I want to make sure that I make the most of each of your moments by preparing you for the process of going through some of the pain to becoming a more productive and prosperous person in your life. Is there anyone here that can say that they want to live a more productive and prosperous life? If so, there you go. Thank you. You can put it in the chat. Just say, that's me. That's me. Let me see the chat. Because no matter what level of your life that you're in, most people want to be more productive, because I know I surely do. Thank you for participating. I appreciate that. So some of you may ask, well, what do you mean by a more productive and prosperous life? Well, let's break it down. To be productive, that means that you're acting in a way that brings about favorable and effective results. Now, I don't know about you all, but I want some favorable and effective results in my life. But let's be honest with ourselves. Are we being consistently productive in our lives? Are we operating with excellence at all times in everything that we do? Really think about it. And I added the word consistently because we can be productive, but do we do it on a consistent basis? Most of us don't, but most of us want consistent, favorable results. But if we don't put in the consistency, the time, energy, and attention, then you won't be receiving those favorable results on a consistent basis. Do your words align with your actions? Do you say one thing and then do something else? Do you say you want to be prosperous or you want to be wealthy, and then you turn around and you say, oh, well, I don't know if prosperity is for me? Well, I know that what means for me is that good old word prosperity. Some people run away from the word prosperity, and some people embrace it. Because living a prosperous life is living a life of prosperity. And I know some may actually think that when you say prosperity, you automatically think money. But it's more than just money. It means to increase or to thrive in all areas of your life. Your family, your finances, your wealth, and your health. Prosperity is something we all can have and we all deserve, no matter what you've been through and no matter what you've done. Prosperity is for you. But sometimes you have to go through some pain in order to obtain. It might be pain in your body, It could be pain in your finances. It could be pain in your life. And usually when you decide to take that step out and take a step towards living a prosperous life, you might feel some pain. You may likely be judged by others, talked about, or discouraged. And most likely it might be from some of your own people, some of your own friends, some of your own family. Therefore, I want to assist you tonight in preparing for that process. I remember on one of my first calls with this guy named Phil Sorrentino. And as I was telling him my dreams, visions, and goals, he told me this: remember, it's a process, not an event. And I've heard that before from others, but never has it resonated with me like this. And I know that on this journey of life, it's a process, everybody. It's a process to achieve those defining moments that make a difference in your life, that make a difference in others' lives. And everything doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time. And sometimes you have to go through some pain. Now, can anyone attest to having to go through some pain and overcome some obstacles in life? Because if you have, in the chat, let me see you put me too. If there's some pain that you've gone through in life. There we go. I got some me too's. Now, that pain can sometimes hurt so much where you don't even know what to do. That pain can hurt so much where you just want to give up and you just want to throw in the towel. But you know what? When you prepare yourself for the things to come, it usually hurts a little bit less. When you're prepared in advance, you may be able to go through the process and get through the pain a little bit faster. So for those of you who don't know, on yesterday, I went through this process of having an abdominal hysterectomy, a major surgery where they had to put me under, literally cut me open, remove an organ, and then sew me back up. Okay, no lasers, none of the up-to-date stuff. It was the old-fashioned way. So that is why I'm in the hospital. But the process did not just start for me on yesterday. The process started back in February. I went to the doctor. You went to the doctor for a regular checkup. You know, they did the blood work, they ran the labs. And then on that Monday morning, I got a call, and the call said, we need to see you again. Your labs are abnormal. And I'm like, okay, this is a phone call right after work. I'm already tired. She proceeds to tell me that my hemoglobin was at 6 units. Now, for those who don't know anything about blood, that's low. As a female, your hemoglobin, which is your blood, should be between 12 to 15 units. I was at 6. I literally was working on half of the blood in my body. And my iron was at 2.3%. Now, your normal iron is supposed to range between 35% to 45%. So I literally had no iron, and iron is what gives you energy. So I was literally operating on fumes. I was losing more blood than my body could restore, and no one could figure out why and how I had been functioning with the numbers like that. I was like the woman with the issue of blood, okay? And this is when the pain began. And it wasn't even a physical pain because I wasn't hurting. I was operating like normal, cheerleading practice, going to school, teaching, but the mental pain started. I was just fine until the doctors told me I wasn't. Now, think about it. Has that ever happened to any of y'all out there? When you're doing good and life is going fine, and then somebody comes and tells you something that just messes up your vibe? That was me. This is when the preparation began. They sent me to an oncologist. That's the cancer doctor. Then the cancer doctor sent me to the hematologist. That's the blood doctor. He sent me to the gastroenterologist. That's the colon doctor. And then to the urologist. That's the bladder doctor. And then I had to go to the cardiologist. And I'm not playing, y'all. Literally, I saw all of those doctors. Within the last 4 months, I've been picked, poked, and prodded. I've had an EKG. I had a blood transfusion. I had a colonoscopy. I had an endoscopy. I had a cystoscopy, a hysteroscopy, and I had 5 IV iron transfusions. That's when they literally put IV iron and infused it into my body. Yes, y'all, they ran up the high score on me. So just imagine the pain of not just my body, but my finances also. But guess what? They were preparing me for the process that I had to undergo on yesterday. The process was pretty painful, but I know that on the other side of the process, I will be a more productive and prosperous Tracey D. Armstrong. I will be more healthy so that I can be more wealthy. And I know that if I didn't prepare before undergoing the process, there could have been other problems during yesterday's process. I know that if I didn't get my heart cleared, it could have failed while I was going through the process. I know that if I didn't have my blood levels prepared, I may have lost more blood during the process. Some of you might see where I'm headed right now, because all of those other people who I had to see, all of those other tests that I had to go through, all of the pain that I suffered then was preparing me for the process that happened on yesterday. And it would have not prepared me, and it wouldn't have got me to this defining moment. I may have put myself in more danger if, excuse me, I may have lost more than I gained. It may have taken longer than expected to finish if I wouldn't have undergone those other processes. Because y'all, look, when you are not prepared, your pain may last longer than it needs to. And your prosperity may take longer for you to receive it than it would have when you're not prepared. Therefore, here's some ways I want to teach you tonight to prepare you for the process. And your process can be whatever you are trying to achieve. Anything in life, whether it be your career, your relationship, your wealth. I like to use what's called the 5 W's and the 1 H. Does anybody out there know what the 5 W's are? Anybody? Any teachers out there? My English teachers would know this. So the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, and how. There we go. Yes. First, you have to look at the who. When you are preparing for a process, you need to identify who's going to be on your team. Who is your support group? Who do you need to connect with? We're always talking about making connections and making friendships. And I've learned that you do need to know things, and it is about what you know, but it's not only about what you know, it is most definitely about who you know. So some of you may have some friends and family that don't even support your dreams. Those are the ones you need to stop letting affect you. Check your circle. If you're hanging around people that aren't adding value to your life, that aren't adding any productivity, you might have to cut some of those people loose. And sometimes that's painful. But your target for living a prosperous life must be greater than your pain of letting people go. The next W is the what. What are the steps needed to take? What needs to be done? What tests need to be taken? Depending on what your dreams and goals are, you might have to take some tests to get to your desires. Tests can sometimes cause you stress and discomfort, but you must pass those tests in order to get to the next level. But you have to know what tests are those that are needed in order for you to prepare for the process. The next is the when. When are you trying to get there? Are you trying to take forever to achieve your goals? Are you trying to speed up these goals? What's your set time? What's your set date? Are there any time constraints that can prohibit you from moving forward? So set your win times. Now, this can be painful because you may not always hit your major targets quickly, but you got to have little milestone markers that will show you how much you've accomplished on your journey. That way, those little small wins and those small victories will add up until you achieve that major target that you're searching for. And then the where. Where are you going? You need to have a direction for where you're going and where do you want to go? Where are you even trying to increase your productivity in? Think about it. When you're driving to get somewhere and having directions, aren't those better than not knowing which way to go? Because when you don't know where to go, it causes the pain, the frustration, aggravation, and that's going to slow down your productivity. And it takes you longer to achieve your prosperity. And then the why. This may be the most important W of them all. The why. Why is this your goal? Why do you want the things that you want? Why do you want to be married? Why do you want to be wealthy? The why is so important because when preparing for success, your why is what's going to keep you going through the pain that you're going to go through. Now the H is the how. How will you get through the pain? How are you going to achieve the goals that you want to achieve? Now I'm going to take a few notes if you got your notepads out, because the how is where we break down how to get there. Number one, you have to control your thought loop. Your thought loop is very, very, very powerful. Your thoughts are crucial to your productivity and your prosperity. What you think and what you believe is what you will achieve. What you think about yourself will determine what you actually try to do for yourself. If you don't think you can be prosperous, you won't even try. Most people don't try to do tasks that they don't even think they can achieve because they have a fear of failure. So when the thoughts come to your mind that are not positive, like they will, sometimes I doubt myself, sometimes I doubt my self-worth, but I really want to be successful. So how do I achieve stability in my thoughts? When those thoughts come, this is what I do to stay on track. I recognize, remove, and replace. Know that thoughts will be coming at you left and right, but you have the power to control what stays and what goes. Recognize which thoughts will bring a more favorable result to your life. If the thought is a negative thought and it keeps you from being more productive, after you recognize it, remove it. You have the power and the potential to remove any thought that comes to your mind. And you say, well, yeah, you say that, but it's not that easy. You can't just remove thoughts. Yes, you can. Guess what? How do you remove it? You stop thinking that thought. And last but not least, you replace that thought with a more positive and productive thought. If the thoughts you're thinking aren't positive, you think of a thought that does bring you positivity. And this is a process, and it takes practice. And the more you practice, the more productive you will become. So recognize, remove, and replace those thoughts until they are aligned with what your goals are. Number 2, control your temperament. Your mood, your temper, your emotions. You cannot let your emotions get in the way of your progress. Your emotional state is determined by your thoughts, which is why you feel the way you feel based upon your thinking. So I do want to pause right here. I want to pause, and everyone, let's take a second. I want you to think about a place that you enjoy going to. Envision that place in your mind, like literally. If you want to close your eyes. But for me, it would be like laying on the beach in the sun, getting a tan, sipping on a fruity cocktail. Once you envision that place, how do you feel? Put it in the chat. How do you feel? For those that actually did it, how do you feel when you think about that place that you enjoy going to? There we go. Because when you think about those places that you enjoy. As soon as you thought about it, as soon as I thought about the beach, I got happy. Some people got more relaxed. Some people felt more peaceful. Yes, because look, your emotions were triggered to match your state of mind. And it works both ways. But we're going to stay on the happy state. We're going to stay in the positive state. But if you're always thinking about negative situations, then your emotions will usually be sad or anger. So when you think about your emotions, which emotions are you expressing all the time? Think about it. Are you like some of my students? Some of my students come in every year and they say, Miss, I have anger issues and I don't know how to control it. I say, the first question I ask you is, what are you always thinking about? Because those are the thoughts that's keeping you angry. Some of you may know some people that are like that. Some of you might know some people that's always in a bad mood, always angry at the world. You know why? Because their thoughts are that everyone is out to get them, or they think that they can never have what other people have, and so they're negative all the time. Then I have students that say they're always sad, and I ask them, where does the sadness come from? And it never fails that they think certain ways about themselves. They have thoughts of low self-esteem, thoughts of loneliness, thoughts of failure. And these same thoughts come to adults. Your emotional stability is important because if your emotions are all over the place, you can't think straight. And when you aren't thinking clearly, your productivity levels are reduced. That is scientifically proven. You control your emotions by controlling your thoughts. And at the same time, last but not least, you must control your tongue. Yes, I said your tongue. Many of you may have heard that life and death are in the power of the tongue. And this is so true. You can either bring life to your situation or you can bring death. When you are going through painful times, what do you say? Do you say, oh, when will this pain ever end? Because what you say will either build you up or tear you down. And your words must align with your desires. So if you want to be productive, your words should sound like this. I can do this. I will do this. I must do this. And when I am faced with painful challenges, I say that. I say I can, I will, I must. And when I'm having some painful days in my finances, my friends always tell me, I have this one friend, he always tells me to say, money comes to me easily, frequently, abundantly, and ahead of schedule. And when the pain comes to my body, I tell my body, I am healed, I am whole. And when painful thoughts come to my mind, I say, hey, thought, I recognize you. You ain't a thought that's productive in my life. I remove you and I'm going to replace you with a thought that is going to bring more prosperity to my life. So in closing, these are some of the ways to prepare for the process of going through the pain so that you can live a more productive and prosperous life. Notice I say going through the pain, which means that you can and you will come out of it as long as you control your thoughts, because your thoughts dictate your emotions determine your actions and your behaviors. Your actions or lack of action will have a consequence one way or the other. It'll either be productive or unproductive. So let's choose to live the more productive and prosperous life. Thank you for these moments of your time. Hopefully something has been said or done that has had a positive impact on your lives. Have a good night.
All right, let us unmute our mic and clap